Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Buenos dias. I want to welcome you to the launch of the Lansing Early Childhood Equity Partnership. It is a 2.5-year work in progress. The people in this room have committed, they have given of their time, their energy, their expertise in actually bringing this community of practice to fruition. The group was formed because of all of the wonderful things that you're already doing in the community to have an impact on children of color. We know that by working together, we can produce much better outcomes than if any organization or individual or institution is working independently. We're launching this community of practice today in honor of Dr. King. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have turned 85 years old on January 15th. He died April 4th, 1968, which is exactly 6 months to the day that I was born. Just realized that yesterday. Dr. King said that human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle. I'm going to try not to make you suffer too much. The tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. These individuals are right here in this room today. And I thank each one of you for your commitment to serving as a champion for racial equity and for young children. In 2011, the W.K. Kellogg Foundation awarded a grant of just under $1 million for Lansing, for children of color in Lansing, with the goal of transforming the lives of families that have children of color ages 0 to 8. Partners in the Lansing Early Childhood Equity Project, now partnership, are the Ingham Great Start Collaborative, Ingham Intermediate School District, Michigan State University, Capital Region Community Foundation, Capital Area United Way, and Ingham County Health Department. In 2011, One Love Global, which is who I represent, and my name is Angela Waters Austin, and I'm the CEO of One Love Global, and we were brought in as a partner for change to serve as the project coordinator to manage the day-to-day operations of the Lansing Early Childhood Equity Project and to keep us focused and moving forward and to organize and bring this group together is one of our tasks. What we've learned over the past 2.5 years by talking with families, by listening with families, by working side by side with families, is that the number one barrier is income. We talked with 279 parents that have children of color in Lansing. 66% said that the lack of a job or income is their number one barrier in being able to raise their children. We also learned that 64.5% of white children are reading by 3rd grade. For Latino children, that number is 47.5%, almost a 20% gap. And for Black children, 44.2%. It is a 20% gap. It's huge. Too huge to ignore, too huge to not take action. We also learned that the expulsion rate in preschool is 3 times higher than it is for K through 12. You have an idea of what expulsion rates are for K through 12. 3 times higher in preschool. Of the children that are expelled in preschool, 91% are Black boys. I'm looking at Black men in this room. I'm looking at mothers and fathers that have brown children. These are our children. 91%. What happens to 3rd grade reading levels when a child is not in preschool, when they're not being able to take advantage of high quality preschool programming? So for truancy, for health reasons, transportation reasons, there is a kind of an avalanche of barriers that families face So what we want to do is to concentrate our efforts on the things that we can do to partner with one another to actually change those outcomes. So as I mentioned, the ad hoc committee met between June and September to develop and prioritize recommendations. We chose to focus on closing that 20% gap between the lowest performing students and the highest performing students. We're focusing on reading achievement specifically because reading is no longer taught after 3rd grade. At the 3rd grade, you are now reading to learn. There is an expectation that you have the foundation and everything builds on top of that. If you don't have that foundation, you will literally spend from 4th grade, hopefully you graduate, not really being literate. So we want to focus on literacy and what it takes to get a child prepared to achieve that 3rd grade reading score to move on to the 4th grade, particularly because in Michigan, there's proposed legislation that would retain students after 3rd grade. Science has shown that students who are retained are far more likely to drop out, which actually is contradictory in a lot of ways. The thing that you're trying to do to change, you want to produce that reading score, but by holding that child back, you actually create a barrier. So our community of practice is a national best practice. We specifically chose a community of practice model because we know it's by doing that we're actually going to change our community. Dialogue is wonderful as long as it produces action. So we are going to have dialogue. We are going to talk amongst one another. But it's what we talk about that we're then going to do, and then we're going to come and talk about what we did, what worked, what didn't work, and what we can do better together. So I would like to close before I bring our next speaker with another quote by Dr. King. I agree with this wholeheartedly, and it defines why I do what I do and why we're all here today. I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word. And with that, I'd like to introduce Michelle Nicholson, who is the Director of Early Childhood Services at Ingham Intermediate School District, a coordinator of the Ingham Great Start Collaborative, and our wonderful project director for Lansing Early Childhood Equity Partnership.
Good morning. The Ingham Great Start Collaborative is a coalition of human service organizations, families, and other partners in the community that are really working to build a system of comprehensive, coordinated care, supports, and services for families and children birth to 8. This next few months, the Great Start Collaborative is going to be working on revising our action agenda, and as part of that, we are needing to focus on new state outcomes from the Office of Great Start at the state level. There are 4 outcomes, and these are the outcomes. The children are born healthy, that they're healthy, thriving, and developmentally on track from birth to 3rd grade, that they're developmentally ready to succeed in school at the time of school entry, and that they're prepared to succeed in 4th grade and beyond by reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade. Some of the things that we're taking a look at from the most recent Kids Count data report for Ingham County related to those outcomes and to racial equity are that about 48% of the births in this county are paid for by Medicaid. So we have an increasing number in families in poverty. For infant death rates, we have Black infants are dying at nearly 5 times the rate of white infants in our county. And you heard Angela talk about the reading proficiency. When we looked at MEP scores last year for 3rd graders in Ingham County, a little over 74% of white students were reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade. Only 46% of Black students were reading proficiently. So we have gaps that we need to address for all children. Even for white children, 74% we shouldn't be satisfied with. We want all children reading at 100% by the end of 3rd grade. To succeed in school and life, those first 8 years of life are extremely critical. And as Angela mentioned, research is consistently showing us that children who do not read proficiently by the end of third grade really struggle to graduate from high school and find successful careers. Children who do are much more successful, and we have a lot of data to show that. So Ingham Great Start Collaborative and Ingham Intermediate School District, which helps coordinate the collaborative, are very committed to addressing racial equity, and we have been working with the Lansing Early Childhood Equity Project for 2.5 years now. And as this becomes a partnership, we are really excited about the community of practice to help us fully with some professional development and staff training for people who are in these programs. Also to help with taking a look at policies and procedures in the organizations and things that we might need to change to address some of the barriers. We've been working with NEON, and we are excited about continuing that partnership to really help support families to engage in services and programs that might best relate to the needs that they have and that they're experiencing. We want to continue as a community to promote that all children are healthy and thriving and developmentally on track so that they can succeed in school and life. Thank you.
Okay, so this is kind of one of the good things, because now we can do this the way that I would love to do it, that we probably wouldn't. So this is the part where everybody introduces themselves. And what I'm going to ask you to do, if you're comfortable, is to come here so that Adam can get you on camera, introduce your name. If you're representing an organization, tell us about your organization, and then finally, what it is that you hope to gain from this experience and or contribute to the experience of the community of practice.